Will President Trump save the U.S. economy from the coming depression? The United States economy has been driven by debt for decades, and this credit bubble has begun bursting. At the moment, the U.S. economy stands on the precipice of a big depression because of the current economic disruption. The stock market has crashed. All the gains made in the last 3 years have been wiped out. Right now, the world is seeing a very big market correction, and unemployment benefits have already surged at a rate never seen before. What is happening in our economy has not been seen for nearly a century. The last time we saw this was during the Great Depression. Ray Dalio, who is the founder and the hedge fund manager of the largest hedge fund in the world, predicts that in this economic crisis, the U.S. economy might lose about $4 trillion. The global economy can lose up to $12 trillion, and that's just in the first quarter of the year. The Federal Reserve has been gearing up to boost the economy. They've announced that they will be buying treasuries and agency mortgage-backed securities to ensure that the financial system continues to function in a normal way. At the same time, they're injecting more cash to the repo market, which has been troubled for many months. Through the Fed, the government has announced that credit flow to the American employees, businesses, and consumers will be supported by a new program that will provide a $300 billion financing. The Treasury's Exchange Stabilization Fund will also back this program by $30 billion. The economic crisis was unexpected. The U.S. government was not well prepared to handle this. The economy has been severely hit. This has forced the government to step in just like they did during the 2008 global financial crisis. Trump's administration is proposing a $1.5 to $2 trillion stimulus package. This will be more than 2 times what the government spent in the 2008 economic meltdown, where the Bush administration passed a $152 billion stimulus package, and when combined with the economic stimulus that was passed by Obama later, it cost the government a total of $831 billion, and now that's in the 2008 economic crisis. From then, we've had a debt-driven economy. Right now, the national debt stands at about $23.5 trillion. Many people are asking who will pay all this debt, but the truth is that the taxpayers will have to pay for this. For the last 10 years, we've had a colossal government spending program. This has created a very big budget deficit. On top of this, we also have all-time highs with corporate and credit debts. This is a very big threat to our economy, considering the fact that the U.S. economy has been weakening for the last 20 years. Right now, Trump's administration is under immense pressure to stabilize the economy. We have historic amounts of debt in the economy. The stock market is plummeting, and experts are warning that the housing bubble is about to burst. The U.S. mortgage market's on the verge of collapsing. Experts are warning the current economic meltdown can easily trigger a collapse of the housing market. As usual, the economy is interconnected, and the meltdown of the broader economy will definitely affect the housing market. The whole U.S. economy is in big trouble. Only massive action by the government will help the economy. Many people are comparing this economic meltdown with the Great Depression that began in 1929, but the truth is that these are two different occurrences. However, there are many lessons that we can all learn from the Great Depression, and with that knowledge, we will have a clear understanding of what will happen in our economy. The Great Depression is one of the most economically toughest times in history. In the years following the Great Depression, the wealth of the rich was substantially reduced, and at the same time, the economic security of American workers was improved. For many years since the Great Depression, many changes have happened to the American economy. Now, one of these changes is the dominance of the financial sector and Wall Street. This has been a big contributor to income disparities. Because of this economic crisis, our economy has to be restructured, and the banks should be limited on the amounts of debts they can issue. The gambling in Wall Street should also be restricted to ensure that our markets are fair and sound. In the last 2 months, the stock market has been plummeting. In the process, Americans have lost wealth worth trillions of dollars. It took many years for this wealth to be created in the markets, but it's only taken a few weeks to lose it all. For many years, we have had an economic model that has been channeling resources from the bottom to the top, mainly through Wall Street. In this crisis, it's very clear that this approach has not served Americans well, because right now, millions of people are losing their jobs, and this is about to get worse. The Trump administration should put more effort into restoring fairness and order in the economic model to make sure that we have an economy where everyone wins. We have had programs to stimulate the economy where the government injected cash to the financial sector and the banks with the hope that this credit will eventually trickle down to good American families. However, the banks prioritize their own interests instead of serving the American public. Instead of loaning this cash to American households and small businesses who really needed it, they used it to fund their own selfish investment ventures. For years, this has been a big disservice to the whole economy, and with a new stimulus package being discussed, it's very clear that Trump's administration is very mindful about the American households and fragile communities. In this economic stimulus, a priority should be given to the American citizens to ensure that they have the cash to help them in these tough economic times. We are in the middle of an economic meltdown. In this crisis, average Americans are the ones that are suffering. Millions have already lost their jobs because thousands of businesses have been shutting down their operations, and because of this, every American household is having financial constraints, and those who lived paycheck to paycheck will find it impossible to buy basic things like food if this crisis continues for the next 2 months. On the same note, experts are warning that this economic fallout can continue up to 6 months if aggressive actions are not taken now to address the current health problem. Many business operations have been suspended. Because of this, many American people are not working at the moment. This is really hurting the economy and has resulted to the biggest economic meltdown since the 2008 global financial crisis. As the government plans to approve a fiscal package to cushion the U.S. economy, many experts have been suggesting that the stimulus package should be relatively equal to the potential decline in the nominal GDP. This means that this fiscal aid should be up to $3 trillion to fully cushion the economy from any damage. The current economic decline might be bigger than what we had in the financial crisis of 2008. Economists are expecting the U.S. economy to shrink by up to 10% in the first 2 quarters of 2020. Assuming that there'll be no inflation, the amount of loss in the U.S. nominal output can be $1.1 to $1.2 trillion. A decline in output also means a substantial decline in nominal incomes, which means that salaries and wages will decline because businesses will make less profit as a result of this economic meltdown. Look, we've had a lot of uncertainty surrounding the economic projections this year because the exact effect of the crisis is yet to be fully figured out. The actual economic effect will be slightly bigger or less than what experts are saying, but whichever way, the U.S. economy has been hit in a big way. Fact. Many American companies have suspended their operations. At the same time, the global supply chains have been disrupted. As a result, thousands of people are losing their jobs every day. Companies are losing billions of dollars because of this disruption that has affected the economy. The U.S. economy has been badly affected, and on the same scale, the global economy too is suffering. President Trump has formed a very capable administration. This is the time when the government has to act precisely and fast to save the American economy from another depression. If nothing is done at this early stage, this economic crisis might get out of hand. Soon we'll find ourselves in the middle of a total economic collapse. Substantial financial aid is needed to fill the holes in the American economy. We have very big losses by companies and individuals. If this is not addressed urgently, we will have a domino effect where every aspect of the economy will suffer big losses. Trump has to rise over this challenge by approving a substantial financial package to stabilize American businesses and to protect America's workers. Trump's administration has a responsibility to ensure that the economy survives and even thrives, even if there is a big economic fallout at the moment.